Hello, I'm Doug DeWitt, Transfer Paper Product Manager here at Condé Systems, welcoming you to our 7th video in our series on Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark T-shirt transfer paper. This is a 2-step transfer paper that you could use through a color laser printer or copier or through the new Oki white toner printers in order to generate a self-weeding graphic that can apply to a dark cotton garment or a garment up to a 50-50 blend. Now, what we have to tell you in today's video is that there has been a product update to the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. So in this video, we're going to discuss the product update and how it affects you in regard to production purposes. Now, in regard to the paper, you're still going to receive the imaging sheet, which is still going to be marked with the purple grid backing. And the transfer sheet, which is marked with the gold grid backing. So as far as the back marks on the papers are concerned, they're exactly the same. What has changed is the formulation of the transfer sheet or the B sheet. It should be a more opaque sheet so that you get better color rendition out of your spot colors. Also, you're probably going to get better bitmap photographic reproduction because of the opacity of the B sheet. Now, while the B sheet itself has changed, it's the only change to this product. But let's kind of run through some of the subtleties. Whenever you order the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark, you're still going to receive your pack of A sheets, but the B sheets should now be marked with this sticker, letting you know that there is a formulation change to the B. Also, you're going to receive a new updated instruction booklet on this Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. Now, while the layout of the information has changed, understand that the steps and the procedures are exactly the same. In other words, you're going to use Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark just like you have previously, but you should get a better result out of it. But just to make sure we cover all of our bases, what we're going to do is go over to our computer so that we can review the driver settings that you need to employ with your color laser printer or color laser copier in order to get the A sheet to run successfully. Once we've done that, we're going to move to our heat press, and I'll give you a quick demonstration on how the sheet weeds once we apply the B sheet over the A sheet. After that, what we're going to do is lay out some examples, have our cameraman zoom in so you can see the subtle differences with this new formulation Imageclip Laser Dark. So now, let's go ahead and go to the computer so we can review those driver settings. Now that I'm here at my computer, I've pulled up a graphic in CorelDRAW X7 that we're getting ready to send to my Oki Pro 920 WT. So now that I have the print dialog box here, let's go over the driver settings required to run Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark through your color laser printer or color laser copier. I'm going to click on Preferences, and we'll notice the first tab here on the Layout tab, we just merely set our artwork to portrait or landscape depending on the orientation layout on the page. The next tab we'll go to is the Paper Quality tab. Here, as far as my paper source, automatically select means that it's going to pull from the cassette tray, but whenever we're running a t-shirt transfer paper through a color laser printer or color laser copier, we always want to select our bypass or multi-purpose tray. For this Oki, I'm going to click on this Advanced button here to access the postscript options of the driver. Since I'm running a tabloid sheet, I'll need to change my paper size from letter to tabloid. So I'll go ahead and make that selection. The next thing I want to consider is my image color management. When it comes to image color management, personally what I like to do is disable image color management, because CorelDRAW, like all other programs, was written under the assumption that we are sending this image to a CMYK printer. But since I'm using a white toner printer, I'd rather disable color management or let the printer handle it. If you're running a standard 4-color process, you can let CorelDRAW handle color management. Some of the other settings that we want to note is media check. We want to go ahead and turn media check off because we know we're running a thicker paper other than standard bond paper. For media type, printer setting for the Oki designates a plain bond paper. But since the Imageclip Laser Dark weighs in at about 145 grams per square meter, we want to set our media type to Ultra Heavy 1 or Ultra Heavy 2, just to be on the safe side. Remember, we want proper toner bonding when the sheet comes out of the printer. The next adjustment I'm going to make on this screen is the tray switch. I want to turn my tray switch off just to make sure that paper is not pulled from the cassette tray, only the multi-purpose tray. Let's click OK here, and let's go to our Job Options tab. Under Job Options, since Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark is a self-weeding transfer paper, we want to bump up the resolution from the normal 600 by 600 dpi to fine detail. So now the printer will produce the print at 600 by 1200 dots per inch. As far as the output bin is concerned, stacker face up means that the sheet will exit from the top. Stacker face down means the sheet will exit from the exit tray, which is the best way to run transfer paper through any color laser printer or color laser copier, straight through. We'll notice here on the Oki, we do have the option of mirror print here in the driver. I am going to deselect this option because I have the artwork mirrored or reversed in my software, but just note that you can do it from the driver. The next thing we want to do is go to the Color tab and make sure that my profile is set to Color Print and that my print mode designates white on. So now let's click OK. Let's apply these changes, and let's go ahead and produce a few prints, and I'll meet you at the heat press to show you the weeding technique. Now that we're here in front of our George Knight 16-inch by 20-inch manual swing-away heat press, let's go ahead and run through the weed steps. Now this press came right out of the box. We are just using it the first time for this shoot. So hopefully I've got this press calibrated correctly, but I guess we're going to find out. Let's open up our heat press, and we will take our imaging sheet, or A sheet, with our toner fixed. We're going to go ahead and lay that down on the platen. And at first, we always want to start dead center on the platen. We're going to take our B sheet, which now has an enhanced white-based emulsion, place that over our imaging sheet, swing our press over, and heat press. Just like the previous version of Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark, the acceptable temperature range for applying the emulsion is between 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 seconds. Personally, I have my heat press set at 245, so I'm right there in the middle, because presses do have a tendency to oscillate a couple of degrees up and down. Let's lift the press, peel the two sheets apart while they're warm, like so. Now if we've done the process correct, although the camera may not be able to pick this up, you should see a perfect indentation of your original design in the emulsion sheet. When it comes to the printed toner, we should have a nice white base over our printed toner. If there are any areas of your design where you can still see the original toner color, it probably means your pressure is a little too light and you want to increase it slightly. Now, if you're using too much pressure, what you might get is excess residue around the edges of the sheet. But this looks like a good attempt here. So now that we have a good attempt, let me grab my cotton t-shirt and I'll show you how to apply it. We're back at the press here. I had to recalibrate my heat setting, had to bump it up to 375 degrees Fahrenheit in order to apply Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark to a 100% cotton garment. So now let's run through the steps required to actually apply the image to the garment. I've got my t-shirt on the press here. I'm going to grab my sticky lint roller. You know what a stickler I am for sticky lint rollers, but I feel it's a requirement because we want to make sure that we remove any contaminants off the shirt. Once we drop the heat press down, they will become a permanent part of the garment unless we take care to remove them. All right, so now that I have my area lint rolled, I'm going to swing the press over and do a quick pre-press. Only takes about 4 to 5 seconds, and I don't have to lock the press in. I just want to make sure I iron out my area so I have a nice smooth area to apply the design. I'm going to go ahead and take my imaging sheet, the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark with the white-based emulsion affixed. I went ahead and trimmed the edges just in case there was excess emulsion left by the B sheet where we didn't want it to apply. But now that we have the transfer ready, we can go ahead, position the graphic where we want it to appear, swing our heat press over, and we're going to apply Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark to our garment at 375 degrees for 30 seconds with a medium to heavy pressure. Personally, I like to use the same pressure I did in the weeding step. That way I don't have to make any radical adjustments. So understand that the time and temperature to do the weed step and the application step have not changed with this new formulation B sheet. Everything remains the same, so production-wise, you shouldn't notice any difference at all. When your timer goes off, we're going to swing open the press, remove the shirt. Now we want to let this shirt cool down to room temperature before we remove this sheet from the garment. If we try to peel it while it's too warm, some of the design may want to stick to the sheet and not release to the shirt. So remember, let your garment cool down to room temperature. There's no penalty in waiting too long to remove this backing sheet. We can remove it in 5 minutes, we can remove it in an hour, we can come back after lunch, we can even come back into the shop the next morning to remove the sheet. Just make sure it cools down to room temperature. So I'm going to set it on my work table, let it cool down. We're going to remove the sheet, and I'm going to show you the difference between the old formulation and the new formulation. So I removed the backing sheet off of my t-shirt. Remember, letting it cool down before you remove it, and I'm thinking we've got a beautiful result here. Now down on the table, I have the same graphic done with the old formulation B sheet of Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. So I'm going to call on my cameraman John to use all his skills so we can lay these shirts down side by side so you can see some of the difference in the color rendition with the new formulation B sheet on Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. So now let's quickly review what we've learned in today's video regarding the upgraded B sheet or opaque sheet on the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. The first thing you got to understand is that the back marks of the sheet have not changed, so you should be able to identify your imaging sheet from your transfer sheet easily. Also, since there's no change to the A sheet, it should still run through your color laser printer or color laser copier like it always has. Just remember to set the media type or media weight around 150 grams per square meter, and it should run through your printer just beautifully. As far as applying the white-based emulsion from the new formulated B sheet, it's the same procedure as it was previously. 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds with medium pressure when you're marrying your A and B sheet. When you're applying to your garment, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds. Use the same pressure. Make sure to wait for the backing sheet to cool down before you remove it from your garment, and you should get some beautiful results with this new product. From my first glance at it, what I noticed was that a lot of your darker colors, like your blacks, your navy blues, your browns, they should remain consistent. What really popped to me are some of your brighter and lighter colors, such as your yellows, your reds, and your oranges. Also, when it came to the bitmap photo, I think we got a much better photographic reproduction using that new formulation sheet. So the change shouldn't be that noticeable. In other words, you can run through your normal production steps, but I think what you're going to get is better quality graphics and bitmaps by using the new formulation Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. As far as 2017 is concerned, all paper that ships from Condé will be this new formulation. Now, if you have any questions regarding the new formulation Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark or something that we did not cover in this video, don't hesitate to contact us direct at 1-800-826-6332, or you can visit our website at www.condé.com for additional information. And make sure to keep tuning in to Condé TV for more instructional and tutorial videos regarding our transfer paper product line. But until then, I'm Doug DeWitt, T-shirt Transfer Product Manager here at Condé Systems. My time is up, and I thank you for yours.
There are so many videos for you to watch, we don't want you to miss out on a single one. So click here to subscribe to Condé TV on our video channel. Click here to like us on Facebook so you don't miss out on anything. And click here to visit this product's webpage.